Hi everybody, let's take a look here at the new FabFilter Pro C2, and they added a lot of new features, quite a few, so many to mention. We're gonna have to do a series. This won't be able to be one video, but it also inspired me just to show a technique that I think we haven't shown quite yet, which is parallel compression in mastering. And so parallel compression, or New York style compression, the concept is to overcompress the signal to really create sort of an intensity and then blend that in with the uncompressed signal. So what happens is you get this very squashed sound copy of the original signal, and it just adds intensity and detail and energy really to the mastering. But because you get just the right blend with the uncompressed signal, you still have all the knock with this sort of added level of intensity. So let's take a look at how to do that. The first thing I think you want to do is go into classic mode. This is a feedback style compressor as opposed to feed forward, and it just seems to work better with parallel compression. Of course, you can experiment with different things. This is my go-to one that I typically start with. And you want a pretty fast attack, but maybe not the fastest. But once you get your sound, it's kind of fun to tweak all the little parameters one at a time and, hear how they're affecting things. For the release, we're not going to do auto release. We're going to set a fixed release here, and we'll do it with the music playing, but it's going to be somewhere in this zone to start with. And we can fine tune that as well once we get going. And we're going to be hard knee, but maybe not all the way hard. So we'll start here somewhere. And then the ratio, we're going to want to do 10:1. Oversampling on, because we're doing intense compression and we don't want aliasing. So we'll turn that on, and we'll turn the lookahead on as well. And we'll play with this lookahead, and you will hear that it changes the tonality of the sound quite a bit. All right, so let's start with bypassing this plugin first. We have a cool track from Jason at Good Life Addicts in LA. We'll just check out the track for a second. Uncompressed, unparalleled compressed. Very cool track. You can see he left that 3 dB of headroom. He's a pro. All right, so let's turn this on, and we'll set the threshold first, and then we'll sort of go through each parameter. But the concept to start with is that we are going to over-compress it. So it's going to sound squashed and weird. It's okay. So we'll start here. Hit play. And you can see we're doing a healthy amount of gain reduction, 12 dB or something. And it sounds weird at first. And that it's okay, it's good. And if you want to hear, you can sort of use this audition headphone icon, and it shows you what portion of the signal you're compressing, which is so cool that you can do this. So let's listen again with that technique. Usually what I'm going for here is like a musical bounce. I don't want it to never be compressing, but I don't also want it to constantly be compressing. I want it to have a little energy in the gain reduction, and I think we got close to that. So we'll turn this off, and we will open up the sidechain, which we'll get to in a second. So now here in the inner circle, the yellow part, not the outer dial, but the inner dial, is our dry gain. That's our uncompressed signal, the copy. And up here is our wet gain, which is our overcompressed signal. So I think the easiest way to get there is to turn down the overcompressed signal all the way and start with the dry signal at 0. Now you can also use this percentage thing here, which is cool, except for this helps you get your gain structure exactly right. Because remember, there's no brick wall limiter on the end of this thing. You can clip the output, which aliasing, digital distortion, all this bad stuff. So let's now just start to scooch up the wet mix. You can also hold down Option, and these sort of move oppositely. And I think it's cool, but I think it's actually just cool to keep to make little adjustments by hand. It seems I get to the right answer quicker. So let's start to blend in some of this overcompressed signal. And it's so sick. It just adds an intensity. And yes, it's making it louder, but it's not only making it louder, you're adding all this intense but still dynamic energy into the original signal, and it's just magic. So here's a couple things you can do. Once you get it, that you're getting that good feeling and that the pumping is musical, it's not working against you, then you can do a bunch of cool things. You can play with the attack and the release and get those to taste, and every animal is going to be different here. So I made a preset for everyone to get started with, but you have to adjust these and listen and taste. You can't slap a preset on this. It does not work like that. You have to do this stuff by ear and by taste, but this is a good starting place to get you into some parallel compression for your mastering. And yeah, once you start doing this, you don't go back. So enjoy, have fun.
Audio.